Alright, welcome back, stream. We were just getting everything set up there. So, moving on to round 3, we do have Team Only Vibes, who was in the stream room last round, back in there. And joining them today is Team, and I love this name, good old Team McDonald's Union.
That is a good name.
So, on McDonald's Union side, we have Jack Potter playing Amulet Titan, and over on Only Vibes side, we have Braden playing Hammer. Now, Jigger, I know you've had quite a few discussions with Jack. Would you like to say a few words about him as a player?
Jack, phenomenal Titan player. Like, I've tried to learn the deck, and I'm still currently learning it. And there's some stuff that he says that I'm like, wow, I never would have thought of that. He has a bunch of prizing and results under his belt. He's on the deck that he's comfortable with. He will probably be performing, hopefully, given the given the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I have some pretty high expectations, just given the past events.
Very fair. Jack has quite a few definitely accomplishments under his belt. I believe he was on the Mythic Championship. I want to say he was either in a PTQ or he did qualify for the Pro Tour itself. Don't necessarily quote me on this. He's a phenomenal Amulet Titan player, a phenomenal Magic the Gathering player.
Some would say one of the best, if not in Southwest
Ontario. Yeah, quoting good old Twitch chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jack, really, really great Amulet Titan player. Only have good things to say about him, to be honest. As somebody who has also played quite a bit with him.
Fortunately, I don't know Braden personally. I don't know if Eric knows
him. I don't know Braden personally, unfortunately. That being said, I have seen Braden play, and I have seen him consistently finish pretty high up on the leaderboards at many events that he's played at. I believe, I don't normally see him on Hammer, but I've seen him on a myriad of decks. I believe there's a week or two where he played Murktide. I believe there may have been another time or two where he was playing another deck as well. I want to say... what's it called? Footfalls or something along the lines.
I'll just interrupt. It looks like Jack is mulliganing his first hand.
6, yeah.
On the flip side, it does look like Braden might have kept a 7.
Yeah. If you could, we're gonna just.
Oh, he has not decided. No, my apologies.
Oh, looks like they're both 6. All right, we're gonna communicate with the players real quick, so we will be back in just a sec. All right, round timer has begun. Our players are both at 6. Yeah, honestly, like, so Jagger, you mentioned you're learning Titan. How do you feel about this matchup in particular?
You know, if there is one deck to take down Hammer, I think Titan's got the answers.
Okay.
It has the Passages.
Mm-hmm.
It has the Forces,
Mm-hmm.
Force of Vigors, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just another fast combo deck, right?
Okay.
They're trying to accomplish what the deck wants to do on turn 2 or 3, and it is a bit slower than Hammer because Hammer can try to threaten lethal on turn 2, but from what I've seen, Titan is probably a very good matchup for Hammer here.
Makes
Any
sense.
thoughts on that as well?
I mean, I think like the main thing to say is like you said, 2 pretty linear combo decks. One's looking to kill you ASAP, the other's looking to kill you ASAP. The one thing I will comment is I think Titan has ever so slightly a bit more resiliency because sometimes they have the 6/6 prime time. If Primeval Titan doesn't get there, here's my Dryad, here's Valakut, here's another thing you have to answer. Versus like on the flip side, I think like Hammer has some of the hardest threats to remove on the board once a Hammer is attached. Like no one's answering a 12/12 efficiently, no one's answering an 11/11 efficiently unless you can get rid of the equipment itself, which, as you mentioned, Force of Vigors, Besages, etc. So it does look like Jack is indicating to us he mulliganed down to 5 and Braden is keeping his 6. So we're hoping that we see a decent 5 and we can get started. I believe I think I've talked to Jack a little bit and he has mentioned I believe you are able to mulligan comfortably at best down to 5, and then there's occasionally the 4-card hand where you're like, you know what, this will do the job.
I've noticed the 4-card hand though has to be like
real good. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just kind of playing the losing battle there.
Yeah, and it looks like Jack
deciding on which one's the bottom.
Yeah. He is happy with his 5 though, and we will see who is starting us up right now. It is Braden starting to So I think
doesn't have the cigar to say.
no cigar to say turn 1, no turn 1 play at all,
No
which
ornithopter at all.
interesting.
Okay. Oh, they have the amulet.
Turn 1 amulet. I mean, that's what you want to see if you're on Jack's side, right? I think also the fact that he's on the draw made him a lot more comfortable mulliganing down to 5. Like,
yeah, no, that is a good point, because even if he had to mull to 4, worst case he is on the draw, right? So
if you see like 4 effective cards in hand, you're going, well, I'm gonna draw 1 more. Like, I hope that it's a good one. Then I think you're pretty satisfied. It does look like Braden is on a Temple Garden. Interesting. Okay, we might be.
This might be a little bit different than what we're normally used to.
So it looks like.
Oh, he's got a Haywire Might.
Haywire Might is in that list.
Saga's tech, yep.
I don't. This is a non-blue list, so this is actually green-white hammer. Granted, we say green-white. It's primarily white with the green splash being Haywire Might. We have 1 in the main, 1 in the side in this list.
Is there any other green card?
Not that I can see.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
it
look
is
like
for
it.
the Saga Might tech.
Yeah, I mean
it does work.
Hey,
we have a turn 2 Paladin over on Braden's side. That is good.
Very nice. I was gonna say as well, Haywire Might is like a house, even in this matchup, right? Like
for sure.
You play Haywire Might, you get rid of someone's amulet, you're in a really good spot, or you get rid of the Dryad of the Elysian Grove, and you're ecstatic, right?
I would double check. I'm not. I think it might say non-creature, non-artifact.
You are probably correct, actually.
I believe it does get rid of the amulet, which is very problematic. And it may also hit a Saga.
Oh yeah, I believe you're correct. Actually,
I don't think it says non-land. I believe it's non-artifact, non-creature, which
Haywire Might.
It is relevant.
Yeah, Haywire Might reads sack it, exile target non-creature artifact, non-creature. You're correct. So yeah, that hits sagas, that hits amulets. That's a pretty clean answer against the Titan deck. Looks like Jack went explore into no land number 3. That's gonna be a
Saga over on Braden's side.
Is Braden just jamming? Yeah, there's Colossus Hammer. Get the draw.
He needs, I think 2 more artifacts still to get the
2 more before Metalcraft is ready. Yeah.
So what do you think he's going to find here with Stoneforge? Does he have a Cauldron on the list? Perhaps he could be going for.
He does have Cauldron in the list.
Or is he going to go for like a Shadow Spear potentially to worry about a blocker per se?
I honestly think like you might as well just get another hammer, right? Yeah.
He's got a hammer. Yeah.
Just like, hey, my opponent doesn't have land number 3. They're not doing anything. I'm just gonna kill you next turn.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, swung for 2, shortcut real quick, getting the hammer off the Stoneforge and pass the turn.
Because he can make a token on his next turn.
Yep.
And then he will have metal. Oh, actually, he has to have a land drop for turn.
He does have to have a land drop for turn.
Oh, we got seen Azusa.
There is an Azusa. Okay, so we see Jack doing the good old Amulet Titan thing. Floats a total of 4 mana in pool right now.
Okay. Interesting.
Jack's just probably marking that down. We have 2 green and 2 white.
Yep.
Both the same colored die, funny enough.
Summoner's Pact.
Okay.
He's going to go for it.
Oh, I don't think obviously
he
can't get Titan, right? I think he's getting Dryad here, and he's
play
just
another land drop.
Yep.
It'd be another. Yeah, I know. He's.
Then you have another 4 mana available.
Oh,
Arboreal Grazer. Okay, I don't hate it honestly. That does get you to 6 mana actually, which means that if he has the Titan in hand, right, he's in a pretty good spot here. Okay, we're at 6 mana effectively. Decides to.
Shortcutting potentially.
He's picking up the Besage. Yeah, I think that's correct. And yeah, there's the Titan.
There's the Titan.
Like I think Jack's super happy now.
I would never thought the Grazer would have been the
I mean, I was sitting here going like, oh, he's getting Dryad clearly. Like,
I
no.
Thought Dryad. He has a Valakut in play. Yeah. A land drop. No.
Oh, see, this is Jack's expertise on the deck, and our obvious like a little bit of novelty of this deck happening like in play. Jack, I think like one of my favorite memories playing against Jack in one of these events was actually when I sat down across from him. I was on Reanimator. And Jack essentially dumped 4 prime times out against me to kill me. And I went, Jack, why are you like flexing on me? And Jack explained, well, there's a world where you have double Solitude in hand, and then I lose to that. And I said, you know what? That's very fair. Like, you're a very thoughtful, clean player. I respect that entirely. But yeah, as Jigger mentioned, Jack going for the Boros Garrison plus, I believe,
Slayer's Stronghold?
Slayer's Stronghold,
Give him Haste +2 and Vigilance, I believe.
Vigilance, yeah.
So he's going to resolve the second set of triggers for the Titan here.
We're gonna see what comes into play. I want to say
could be the other. I don't know, man. He might not have the mana to give him. Is it Double Strike or
Double Strike? I don't even think he wants to be honest. Like I think the line here might just be what's called
go and find.
Bounce Land Besage is not bad. I honestly like a little bit more. I like Bounce Land Teleria West.
Oh, right.
Because then if you need to, you just go and find another Titan this turn, and then or another Titan next turn off of the Teleria West cycle, and then you go from there.
He doesn't have blue mana.
You're right, actually. Yeah, I'm being a little getting a little ahead of myself here. That's for sure.
I think the safe route is probably bounce Besage and Oh, he goes to the
Beseiju
forest.
Yeah.
Oh, he does have the Beseiju in hand.
Now he has the Beseiju up, right?
Beseiju in hand, right.
Makes perfect sense. Jack playing cautiously here, doesn't want to just get killed from out of nowhere, so has the Beseiju up in hand off of the 2 lands. Braden takes his 8, draws his card. And, like, this is one of those really interesting spots where it feels kind of like Jack is ahead, but at the same time, on the flip side, like, yeah, Braden can just do the thing. And
he's going to go with safer route, go for another Stoneforge.
There's a Stoneforge. I imagine this might find the Cauldron complete. Nope.
No.
Oh, okay, yeah, changing his mind.
If he has a land for turn, he can use the other Stoneforge for the Cauldron.
Dump out a Cauldron. I think Cauldron's like pretty good.
Oh,
Shadow Spear. That makes sense as well,
yeah,
right?
you
Like,
need
gain your life, make
yeah.
sure you don't just die.
Now, does he have a land to go Hammer or Shadow Spear?
Yeah, there's
there
Bond
is,
Axis. There's Shadow Spear, draw for turn. There's the Hammer we know about, draw for turn. And the draw is on the stack. Jack is going, alright, we're going to respond to this. It's funny because Braden's sitting here going like, what are you doing? And then Jack goes, you know what's in my hand. Yeah, and Jack's showing him the Beseiju saying like, this is what's happening.
Forget that,
I think Braden might have forgotten about the Beseiju in hand, unfortunately. One way or another, I mean, Braden's about to have he can equip Pure Steel with one hammer, equip Stoneforge with the other hammer, and get in for effectively like 23 spread across 2 blockers, which means Jack will probably have to chump 1 with the Arboreal Grazer, take 11. It still leaves Jack in a phenomenal spot,
so
obviously.
Here's the thing. Jack didn't get rid of an artifact before Metalcrafter's online.
That is definitely a little odd.
See, now he's getting the free equips in. Do you think there was a reasoning? Because we know Jack's got the blocker, so I mean, he can get rid of the Shadow Spear, and he's not no big deal.
He's fine, yeah.
But here's the thing: we don't know why he wouldn't have removed. I would have removed I would have probably removed the Shadow Spear.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't want him to have trample or lifelink, right?
Agreed.
He's holding it back.
Yeah, it looks like Braden geared up his boys, or I should say boy, and Stoneforge Mystic, who I believe is a girl. His creatures, apologies.
Better phrasing.
Yeah, better phrasing. And just pass the turn. And I think that makes sense. Like, Braden realistically knows that, hey, maybe one of these will get through, the other will get chumped, and then I'm just dead on the crackback.
Jack does have a pack trigger.
Yeah, and Jack currently thinking what he's going to tap.
Does also look like he is talking to one of his teammates.
Yeah.
Just not sure if it's the Legacy or Pioneer seat, though.
I believe that is the Legacy seat we're seeing.
He's going to pay with...
See, I think the big thing is Jack's considering here whether he leaves up the Boros Garrison or not. Because Boros Garrison leaves him the option of, hey, let me give my creature +2/+0 Vigilance and Haste again.
Yeah.
But he decides, no, yeah, we're going to pay this and draw a card for turn.
Oh, he's going to another
there's pack number 2.
Now what do you think he's getting here? I think it's a Dryad.
Yeah, like, I think Dryad just cleans up the game here.
Because he can go to combat and get, was it Vesuva Valakut?
Just grab 2 Valakuts.
Is the list running 3?
Let's take a quick peek. I see Bounce Land Valakut.
Bounce Land Valakut, yeah,
that's fair. It is actually only 2 Valakuts. You're correct, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jack goes, I'm going to send 12 upstairs, and Braden knows when they have lost. Yep. And that's game 1. Honestly, like, this is one of those matchups where, like, I love watching it play out because it's so interesting seeing like the type back and forth. Like if you were playing any other deck, right, and you see like a Pure Steel Paladin, a 13/13 with a hammer, with a Shadow Spear, you're like, I've just lost this game.
Titan is one of those decks that can be like, you know what, I'm okay with this. I have the answers. You know, it's not looking good, but it could be worse.
Very fair.
I don't know how many other decks could just be like, yeah, that's okay with me. I have a response.
Yeah, very fair.
Especially pre-sideboard.
Pre-sideboard, yeah. We're gonna take a quick peek at the list. Jigger, if you'd like to start as a Prodigy Amulet player, what's Jack's list looking like?
Here's the issue. I am learning from Jack.
Mm-hmm.
But none of these are because of what he said. These are all my opinions, so it's gonna be completely wrong, could be completely right. No idea.
Okay.
Starting off though, 2 Force of Vigors. First thing I see, those are probably automatically going in on my side here.
Mm-hmm.
He has another Beseiju on the side. I believe that'll also be coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at Engineered Explosives. Really good against this matchup. He'll
of course.
Bring those in as well. Issue is, how many cards can he afford to cut and still be okay? Like, I'm seeing a Dismember here. Honestly, a 1 mana -5 for 4 life as well. It's not too bad in this matchup. Issue is, how many more cards can he add?
Yeah. I think like the Dismember is also an interesting consideration since like if College Complete does come down, Jack doesn't really have a clean answer to it. Versus
Right.
Dismember says, "Here's my clean answer to College Complete."
Right. Because it
Which
does
feels
have
pretty good.
indestructible, so the
Yep.
force does not get there.
Yep. So pretty interesting. All right, we're gonna look over on Braden's side. We have 1 Pithing Needle, 2 March of Otherworldly Light, 1 Haywire Might, 1 Blacksmith Skill, 2 Path to Exile, 4 Dranith Magistrate, 1 Relic of Progendus, and 3 Sanctifier on deck.
Sounds like some good cards in there.
So I think like the really big issue here is Pithing Needle doesn't do much. The March of Otherworldly Light.
You can name Expedition Map.
I mean, like, turn 1 Pithing Needle, name Expedition Map, go. It might make Jack's hand more awkward
or
if he's
you
relying
can
on
name
it.
Stronghold. There you go. Right? Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I just don't love it because like I feel like you're still just losing with it,
Definitely
right?
one of like the last things you wanted working
Yeah.
there.
2 March of Otherworldly Light. I imagine we're gonna see those coming in. Clean answer to Amulet. Super phenomenal answer against Urza's Saga. The 1 mana exile your land is
That
brutal.
is very brutal. Very brutal.
1 Haywire Might definitely coming in. Another way to answer that Amulet. Another way to answer that Saga. The skill I think doesn't really have a reason to. Maybe Braden's will bring it in with the worry of, hey, the Force of Vigors are coming in. Maybe I have to beat those. But I believe Braden is already on 3 in the main.
So he might not need the 4th.
I don't think the 4th is necessary in this matchup. That might just be for the removal heavy matchups, right?
It does give something hexproof and indestructible, but I don't think he needs a 4th in this matchup.
Yeah. And the very last card that's relevant in the sideboard is 2 Path to Exile. Now, obviously, Hammer doesn't really have a lot of answers to creatures, and a 6/6 Titan, whether it's hitting you in the face or not, the really big thing is I get to go find 2 lands with this Titan. Sometimes that might just mean I find Valakut and murder you with my Dryad out. So I think the Paths are going to come in just as another answer to Dryad, an actual answer to Titan as well.
So yeah, the issue with the Path is Titan has to hit the field before he can path it.
Mm-hmm.
So he will find the 2 lands, and then he will also get the land off a Path.
Mm-hmm.
It's not amazing for Jack because he's down a Titan, but it's also not the worst because he's already found 2 of the lands and he's up another basics.
Very fair, very fair. All right, it looks like we are getting started in game 2. And they're giving a nice friendly fist bump. We love to see it.
Yeah, that's one thing I like. I like when opponents, they're still like, you know what? After all, we're all still friends, whether we talk to each other or not outside of Magic, right?
Yeah.
We're all here to enjoy our time, enjoy playing the card game we love.
Honestly, that's one of the biggest props of Southwestern Ontario Magic. I think there hasn't been a single person I've met who's given me like any sort of bad vibes or who refuses to give me like the time of day. For example, we can have played once, we can have never played ever, and they will still be more than willing to give a chat, give a discussion, be very friendly with each other, and it's always phenomenal. And it looks like Braden did in fact go down to 6 there. So we'll see. I think Jack kept to 7.
I do see a die on his side, so Jack might have also.
Oh, okay, that's double mulligan down to 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Who do you think is favored when they're both mulliganing down in this situation?
So, seeing as Hammer's on the play, they're both to 6. I still think Hammer's got the upper edge here.
Okay.
Now, sure, Jack does draw the extra card, but a turn 1, like a nice turn 1 Sigarda's 8 Ornithopter, or like a I'm blanking. I think it's the Ink Moth.
Mm-hmm.
Like a turn 1 Ink Moth.
Turn 1 Ink Moth, yeah.
Right. That's also a really strong play for Hammer.
Very fair. Very fair.
Issue becomes if Titan happens to have a force in their hand. Oh well, that's all going to crumble down.
Yeah. The blowouts will always be there, where sometimes
Correct.
they just get the 2-for-1s and
Yeah.
you feel bad.
Yeah.
It looks like Braden, not sure about the sand. I do see a lot of lands there.
Oh,
And yeah, Braden says, I'm going to 5. And Jack says, I am A-okay with this 6. I hope I kill you again.
Now, you know what? Now I'm kind of incentivized to say Jack's got the upper hand now.
Yeah.
He's kept 1 more card and he's on the draw.
Yeah, I think the card advantage there is relevant. Like, trying to combo off with less game pieces is hard, and in Jack's case, he'll be up like 2 hopefully relevant cards to just like get that advantage and go from there. Alright, let's take one last quick peek. Hopefully Braden likes this 5. I think I heard a yikes
I
over.
think I only saw 1 land. I don't know if I even saw a second.
No. Braden not quite sure here. Decides, yeah, that one for sure is gone. Making that last choice. It's definitely a little hard here. Like, I think there's only so many game pieces you can start to lose from your hand before
Right.
you go, this isn't really a magic hand anymore.
Right. Well, especially for Hammer, it is a very very strong and well put together deck. But the issue is if you don't have like 2 or 3 of the core pieces, you might not be able to get there. So
Yeah.
you see the turn 1 Cigar Aid.
I mean, we're saying turn 1 Cigar Aid gets the ball rolling. It's just a question of what the follow.
You
I
see
do
the
see it.
hammer.
Yeah, there is a hammer in
You see
Braden's
the
hand right now.
Is another turn 1 Amulet.
It
Yeah,
is a
it is
turn 1
another turn one
amulet.
amulet.
There we go. So I think in this case, like, Braden's a lot more active right now by well, I should say both players are kind of online with their opening combo pieces, right? We have the
Correct, yeah.
Amulet on one, we have the Cigar Aid on one.
Right.
Both players are very, very possible and
Really
likely to
depends
just
on
go
the turn
nuts.
twos.
Yeah. I think we saw off of Braden actually a
I don't know.
pithing
Did
needle.
we see a second land? I don't know if we saw a second land.
I don't think he has the second land, but I think that is a pithing needle in hand.
Jack is on the other side assisting his teammates, so
Yeah.
both players are looking for some advice or helping the other teammates.
We're definitely paused for just a second here as players discuss. Oh, good old Legacy on the side. Definitely a bit of a difficult format sometimes. Alright. Yeah. It looks like Braden just says pass.
He
No
did
second
have
land
the one
drop.
lander, unfortunately.
Kind of awkward here that there's no creature either hitting the board. Okay, that's a Crumbling Vestige. Jack made green, untapped it.
Oh, he's got it. Okay.
There's our Explorer.
Does he get the bounce land into Triad?
Second
Oh,
Amulet.
a second Amulet.
This is real dangerous,
Oh, he doesn't have
Braden.
the land. He
But
didn't have the land.
there's no other land drop in Jack's hand. Wow, okay. Like, this one's a nail biter because there's so many active draws in Jack's
He gets
deck,
the
right?
second land.
Like,
Braden-
there's our
Braden,
second land
yeah.
for Braden. Nice.
He's tapping one. What can we see here? Pithing Needle.
Pithing Needle. He named Slayer's Stronghold.
He did name Slayer Stronghold.
Interesting. Okay, so he is afraid of Amulet Titan just
Wow.
coming down and beating face. Very reasonable.
We did mention that earlier, but
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't like the whole combat thing that Titan's good at.
Very fair. Now, does
Yeah.
Jack have a bounce land? I saw a Beseiju in hand.
I think he's probably trying to, he doesn't want to play the Beseiju because it might come back to bite him, especially since he doesn't have a bounce land.
Yeah, I think Beseiju dealing with a Cigar Aid with a hammer on the stack, or Beseiju even honestly hitting like the Pithing Needle if you really want to get in with Titan.
Right.
Those are your choices, and those are your optimal options.
Oh, he's gonna play the Beseiju. Oh, he's
okay.
passing.
He is Beseiju go. He doesn't have the bounce land in hand.
Maybe he's not afraid yet of what Braden's got.
I don't think so. So we draw Saga ticking up to 2. There we go. And it looks like... Oh, what is that? Okay, there's an Ink Moth
There's an
Nexus.
Ink Moth, okay.
That's
passing?
pretty interesting.
Now, does he have the hammer?
He
Did
did
we
have
see-
the hammer. We saw it in the
Oh,
opener.
okay.
Now it's just a question of what Jack has. There's
Is that
Vesuva
Vesuva?
on Vestige.
Here's the issue though. Can he bring back the Beseiju or get another one? Does he have a Force of Vigor?
Well, I think he's fine. I think he's just jamming
Is he
Titan
just going
here.
for Titan here?
Yeah.
Oh, he's going for
There's
Titan.
Titan.
But now the issue, he can't go for the Slayer Stronghold route.
He can't. But I think off of 2 amulets, I believe you can find another Titan.
Needle named Slayer Stronghold for
Yeah.
those
So that makes it a little harder. But I believe there are lines where I believe.
So he does have the two
Depending on what you pick up.
the two amulets. I think there's 2 in Boros. You can give a creature haste. I may be mistaken.
No, that's the stronghold, right?
Stronghold is for just Boros. Oh, he's going for bounce land and to blanking.
Yeah. Thanks, Miss Excel in the chat. Yeah. Needle is currently naming Slayer's Stronghold.
Is that the transmute land that he has underneath the?
Yeah, that's Teleria West,
It is? Okay.
and it looks like he's going to transmute. I imagine probably a Summoner's Pact. Okay, so it looks like he floated 6 mana.
Play the bounce land again.
Plays Arboreal Grazer.
Pick up the Beseiju.
Bounce land, makes another 4 mana. So I believe Jack should be at 9 mana right now. I'll send them a quick. Well, they're writing it down. So I just heard Jack say 6 blue,
Oh, okay.
3 green. So yeah, he is on 9 mana right now.
He's gonna pick up the west and.
Decides I'm gonna pick up Teleria West.
you think he's going for another pact here?
I think it's transmute, find pact, find another Titan. Just get so ahead on board that it's a bit difficult for Brayden to come back. Now, granted, the really big thing here to think about is that, you know, you could just go, oh, well, Brayden goes animate Ink Moth, swing in, equip my hammer, win. That Arboreal Grazer has reach. Very, very janky little 0/3.
1 mana, 0/3.
Reach.
With reach, and when it enters, you get to play a land.
Like, I don't know. I remember there was a bit of Twitter discourse once upon a time, which was like, this card's insane. It should be in, like, just about every deck. And I remember...
Lo and behold, a few sets later, what was the other 1 mana? I think there was another 1 mana creature.
It was a specific... I think they're both monkeys, I believe.
Oh, I think one's a beast, actually.
Oh, is Arboreal Grazer a beast? Okay,
I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I think there's a 1 mana creature they printed in a few sets later that was just, like, completely, you know, haywire broken. I could
not sure. Could it be like what's a 1 mana creature?
DRC? No,
DRC?
It wasn't DRC.
No. DRC's good,
it's
but
good,
that could be
it's
that
not
one. Is it? I think it's Ragavan, maybe.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Ragavan Nimble Pilfer. What a great card.
But hey, it doesn't get through the Grazer.
That's
as good as it is.
You know what? I guess we are sitting here making the argument that in a vacuum, Arboreal Grazer is a better Magic the Gathering card than Ragavan Nimble Pilfer.
Do you know what gets through Grazer?
What?
Lightning Bolt.
You know what? You're right.
Yep.
I can't argue that one.
Yep.
Bolt the Grazer. That feels pretty bad though, doesn't it?
Well, you know what? I have done it before, and I have felt bad doing it. I'm okay with Searing Blazing it because it'll do 3 to him and 3 to the, you know, that's great. But when I got a bolted to get through, it's so terrible.
Yeah. All right. While we were having a bit of a sidebar here, it looks like Jack did in fact Summoner's Pact, rejam a Titan. He's back down to 0 mana right now, I believe. We might ask him to give a quick check on that. Give me just. All right. Sorry about that, stream. So it appears Jack in fact was not floating anything. Went and found a. I think that's.
Is it Valakut Stronghold?
Gruul Turf?
Gruul Turf.
Gruul Turf on the Slayer Stronghold. Plays the Grazer onto Vesuva.
Vesuva targeting.
So there's 1 white, 1 colorless in pool right now is what I heard.
Bounce land, bounce the Besage to hand. You know, it's always a line.
Yeah.
But he might be yeah, you know, he could bounce a Besage, kill the Pithing Needle. Oh, Engineer Explosives.
EE on 1. Yep.
Now remind me, Eric, is EE symmetrical?
It is symmetrical, so he will lose his Grazers.
The Grazers, they have reach though. Like they could block the Ink Moth.
He'll also lose his amulets.
That is so he's going for the kill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the big thing here is like you get rid of Pithing Needle, he can activate the Slayer Stronghold, and at that point he's probably just won.
Okay. Yep.
No, Jack just mentioned I will have red white floating. I'm popping my EE right now, and we go So there goes everything.
Yep.
So yeah, Slayer Stronghold on a Titan. So we're rewinding for just a second. Jack going, this is on 1 right now. Are we good? Resolves, and our Titan is an 8/6 now.
Hasty, Vigilant. What could be getting here? Because I don't think the deck runs more than 1 Vesuva. So he couldn't, buff it again. He doesn't have an amulet to untap.
Yeah.
He's still going for the safer route. Okay. Keep in mind, actually, once he goes to his turn, if you get another turn, he's got to pay for 2 packs.
I think he has the mana though.
He should have the mana.
Yeah, he has the mana.
Now it's a question of can Brayden survive another turn? He is putting Brayden in a rough spot here.
So we're getting just a quick explanation from Jack here, explaining the process basically of everything that went through. Jack just explaining the process of, hey, I found these 2 lands, generated mana, I played my Vesuva copying your planes, funny enough, added more mana, and then from there just went through the process of blowing up the E and going from there.
I don't believe he has another. If you were talking about Vesuva, I don't believe he has
Vesuva is in fact one in the main Miss Exile. You are correct.
Is there any in the side? I don't believe there is.
There are none in the side. So he found the one of Vesuva.
He's passing. Oh, he's making a construct.
Yeah. So Brayden makes a construct goes to his turn, draws a card. We do have that Saga trigger on the stack. Explain your place opponent. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. See, I'm trying to learn the deck, and the funniest part is when I'm trying to learn, I'm still trying to explain to my opponents what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's just like a big confusing mess sometimes.
I mean,
it is a very, very, very complex deck.
Titan is a lot of math at the end of counting. How much mana am I getting? How much mana do I generate? Like, is this the point where I can start to do X, Y, Z things? And,
right.
That's always gonna be the difficulty. And then obviously, like Braden just asked, he's like, wait, how did you go through that turn and still have mana? Can you explain it? And that's a pretty reasonable request. And Braden shows, hey, here's my Sigarda's Aid, here's my drum. I'm gonna animate, equip a hammer, and kill you. And Jack goes, yep. So, like we saw, the popping of the EE, unfortunately, actually did Jack in, because with no Grazers to block, here's my Ink Moth just killing you. I think also Braden getting the second Sigarda's Aid draw, and also being able to have the second hammer in hand, that's pretty great for him.
Yeah, so I think the safer route for Jack would have been to not cast the second Titan, puts him in an awkward spot. But if he were to get a bounce, and honestly, it could have been 2 bounce lands, it could have been, as long as one of them was a bounce land, comes in untapped with the Amulet, he could bounce the Besieger's Hand and just hold that as a threat. Like, hey, I know you've got an Ink Moth. You may or may not have a equipment of any sort, but I'm just going to hold this above your head. And then if you try to do something, I can besiege you it.
Interesting.
But, again, I'm not 100% sure what the pros and cons of that would have been. Does Jack want to waste a whole turn? Maybe he thought it was a bad idea. But they are going into a game 3.
It does look like it. Honestly, I don't hate the line you mentioned. I think like picking up the Beseiju, having it available to play and utilize as a tool is really important. I think also maybe just like hold off on popping the EE there. Like like the pro of popping the EE there is you get to swing in with the Titan, get more lands. That's always great.
He did have 2 Titans though.
Yeah, and I think the big con is like you lose your amulets as well, which might make it a little bit harder. Versus I think like I don't know. I think waiting of a turn there might have benefited Jack a bit more.
He could have even popped it on the opponent's turn when he's like, okay, hey, now you got a hammer, you got a Sigarda's Aid. I don't want this to result.
Yeah.
So, may have preemptively popped the EE there, which cost him.
Yeah. It's funny because as we're hearing Jack said, I think I just got a little too aggressive there and overextended, which the commentary obviously that we're mentioning as well. All right, we're seeing
our first 7.
Game 3 going on. Can't quite see too much, but I imagine Braden's looking for, again, Sigarda's Aid and such. Jack says I'm at 6. Braden also ships it back to 6.
Okay. I don't think these players have kept their first hand all throughout these games.
You know what? In combo decks like these, sometimes all you need is 6.
Combo. Yeah.
All you need is the perfect 6 or the perfect 5, and then you can just win, right?
Yep. No, I think it's crucial. If you're not fast enough, the other deck may just be faster. That's
I mean, how do you, like, as a hammer player, beat, like, turn 1 amulet into turn 2 amulet kill you, right? Like,
yeah, it's a good question.
Your hope is they don't just insta-murder you their second turn. Yeah, that's true, Miss Exo. Like, the London Mulligan being implemented is really, really great for these combo decks, right? You still get C7. You just have to put, like, 1 useless card on the bottom, which is always pretty nice. That's right, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
In the combo versus combo matchup, you want these really great hands.
Whatever card is the most dead in your hand at this certain time, you gotta
get rid of it. I mean, like that dead card might as well just not be there. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly Miss Maxell. That's what we're talking about. Either deck just has their few pieces they need.
Then they just win.
Yeah, no interaction, then they've got it.
Gosh, let me tell you, Jigger. I remember playing with the old Mulligan system, and it was awful.
Oh, really?
So
why don't
like,
you enlighten us in chat?
Sure. So I believe just before London Mulligan, we had the Paris Mulligan, and that was when you mulligan down, you draw 1 less card for every time you've mulliganed, and then you scry that many cards.
I don't know if I like that.
I certainly didn't. Let me tell you that much. The amount of times where like you'd mull to 6 or to 5, you'd scry like 1 or 2, and you'd be like, wow, these are still just bad cards. And it would just functionally work similar to the London Mulligan, except the biggest difference was that, you didn't get to choose which useless cards you put on the bottom. Right. They just were the 2 top ones. Do you guys think either deck is favoring this matchup, or split, or does it come down to the dice roll? So I think, like, personally, I honestly want to say I think dice roll is super dependent. Because both decks do have the turn 2, I sometimes just win. And alongside that, both of their like longer game plans can be a little clunkier, a little more awkward. That being said, I think if we see this game go to turn 3, turn 4. I think we're going to see it go to Amulet more often than we'll see it go to Hammer. It looks like we do have a judge call going on right now.
While they're doing that, I'll just give my thoughts on the...
Yeah, just swap it over to us real quick.
So, I believe, in all honesty, I'm not... It may not be biased, but I think Amulet has the upper edge.
Okay.
Just like, specifically for the fact it just has a lot of potential artifact hate.
Yeah.
Right? So now that we're post-sideboard, he's bringing in a Beseiju, he's bringing in engineered explosives, right? He has the Force of Vigors. I honestly think that Amulet has the upper hand.
That's fair, honestly.
And it doesn't help that Hammer is on the draw this time.
Yeah.
Because we've seen those Titan plays.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of what I think happens. Like, when Titan has the chance to go long, like, Titan just does better, right?
Yeah.
Like, Hammer, once you don't have any creatures anymore, it's like, whoops, my equipment can't go anywhere.
Right.
Kind of sucks.
Right. I think it's unfortunate because I think if you go game 1, I honestly think Hammer has the greater matchup.
Yeah.
Right? Just because, again, the sideboard tech is not there for Hammer. It's unfortunate that Braden didn't get there game 1. Because this could have been flipped around.
Yeah.
But he did manage to get game 2.
Squeak out the game 2, yeah.
We're going to game 3.
As far as Force of Vigors in the sideboard go, we do have 2 in the side for Jack on Amulet Titan right now.
So he's running 2 Force, and then he has 2 Beseiju main, and a third one in the side, which I imagine he would bring in.
So I'm at like five pieces of like get rid of your like artifacts, get rid of your interactions. Yeah, like
right.
I definitely think like Amulet suddenly gets that edge when you're getting into like game 2, game 3, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Well, while we wait for this to resolve, let's give a quick plug to our great friend Nerdz Cafe. So we are here right now at Nerdz Cafe playing this game, or this event, I should say. Nerdz Cafe is located over in Woodstock, Ontario, and it is a phenomenal game store. Personally, like I can say that I came here to play one of their monthly 2Ks. They run a circuit within every single month they play a 2K. And before the event, I'm like, okay, I'm missing like 20 cards for my deck. What do I do? So I live about 40 minutes off of Woodstock, and I said, well, I kind of need to trade cards in, but at the same time, I don't want to like drive all the way there and be like, hey, actually, these parts of your order are denied. And I'm like, oh, I have to figure something else out. So I gave them a call. And they helped me right out. They were super kind, super friendly. I came by, did the trade, went to the tournament the next day, scrubbed out a little bit. Happens.
You know, it'd be like that sometimes,
yeah.
You know.
But great people, great times, and so much great stock. Jagger, anything to say about Nerdz?
Honestly, I'm kind of sad I didn't know about this place earlier. Because I just can't. I think it might have been just like a modern tournament that, a group of our friends just, they're like, hey guys, there's a tournament at Woodstock. And I was like, I mean, I've practiced some games. I'm not like the greatest. But when I came here, again, the environment, very nice. The staff, like, honestly...
knowledgeable, great,
very knowledgeable, and they're very welcoming, too. Because sometimes you'll go to these LGSs, and they're kind of like, hey, what do you want?
Can be a little rough sometimes,
right?
yeah.
You just, hey, here's your cards, okay. Anything else? No? Yeah. No, but I think it's really good. Honestly, it's probably, like, one of my favorite, if not favorite LGSs. Because not only is it good for Magic, they have other games. They have Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Flesh and Blood.
Flesh and Blood,
yeah.
Right? And then on top of that, they've got like video games and VR and board games. Like there's like a Nerdz Cafe.
Great time.
It's almost like the name was made for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing.
Anyone ever needs any Magic or other hobby needs, Nerdz Cafe, they deliver as well. I think we should be able to get back to the feature match now. So just a moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Missed a couple turns here, unfortunately. So it looks like Jack opened on an expedition map, played a Dryad a Dryad of Legion Grove, I apologize. And over on Braden's side, we have a Stoneforge. I believe that's a Cauldron. That is a Cauldron on board. And a Haywire Mite.
Ouch.
Okay, so, funny enough, I think this is looking a little even. Jack definitely getting like beat down here by that Cauldron completely, but at the same time, Dryad's down on the board for Jack, and Jack gets his 2 land drops and a Valakut's there.
I think Jack might be down another 7 life. They may or may not have forgotten. We're not 100%.
If it's the 5 life, yeah. I think he should be down to
yeah.
9, and they're missing that right now.
Is that a giver, I believe?
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Dryad really needs to stick around, and Jack's not out of it. Once Dryad leaves for whatever reason, yeah, it's gonna.
I think Jack's gonna have a rough time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're cracking the expedition map.
Does he look for the Beseiju? Or does he just look
I think he has to. Like, I think the big thing is you have to Beseiju.
Or could be a Boros Garrison, because I think that might be a strong.
That is the stronghold.
Or is that the Crumbling Vestige?
No, that's Slayer's stronghold right there.
So he could be getting a Boros Garrison if he has a Titan in hand. Because I think he has 2, 4, 5, 6.
Looks like another bounce
chamber?
land. That's another. Yeah, this is Simic Growth Chamber. I think.
Interesting.
Very interesting spot. I'm
Yeah,
wondering what Jack's line is
here. Yeah,
here.
we did unfortunately miss a couple of the first turns.
Yeah,
I apologize. But
there's just a judge call being finished up, and we wanted to give the players privacy. But it seems like we're getting kind of back into it right now. But yeah, I'm not quite sure about those life totals. We're gonna assume that they're correct for the time being, and we will see if we're corrected at all.
yeah, keep in mind the players are keeping track of their lives on a separate notepad just to the right of them. So they may have just forgotten to update it for us.
Yeah. All right. So it did look like that expedition map was cracked on Braden's end step, and there's a summoner's pack for Jack.
Oh, he has the Valakut in play, and he has the Dryad.
Yeah. We're seeing here's Titan.
I think he goes for Boros.
Braden says sure.
He doesn't have an amulet.
Well, I think just getting Valakut in another land does a ton here, right? Because Dryad making all your lands mountains means that both your Valakuts will trigger twice. That's 12 damage. Jack still has a land drop, and that could, I mean that's 18 right there, setting Braden to 2.
Land, yeah.
Well, we saw him pick up or get the growth chamber off of
right.
exploration map. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have an amulet.
No.
Does not have an amulet.
Oh, that's Vesuva copying Valakut.
Okay.
That also does quite a bit. Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
So that's
Is that lethal?
No. So that is 6 triggers on the stack right now of Valakut. So that means that's 18 damage
So if he
being
has
pointed.
a land for turn,
yeah,
it's maybe over.
if he has land for turn, then that will be done. We know that there's a growth chamber in his hand.
Oh, he's gone way
Oh,
over.
that's a little too far. You're at 2 life, Braden. There we go.
Maybe he's doing for
Jack makes his next land drop of Simic Growth Chamber
Is the stack
and
empty?
offers the hand.
That's a game.
There we go.
Good game. Wow, that was quite a turn of events. It looked very, very grim for Jack there. But
I think just the turnaround of like, here's my Titan, I have 3 Valakuts, I'm gonna kill you
I
now.
have a
Like
Dryad.
that kind of just does it, right? Not much more to say.
I think I forgot to mention that actually he has 2 land drops for that turn.
Because of the Dryad gives him the additional land drop. Yeah, that's right.
Interesting. Wow, that was.
So yeah, I think Jack just had that with double Valakut, right?
Yeah.
Because then you go like Valakut, deal 12 to you.
2
Deal 6 to you. Or no, yeah, 12, sorry.
12.
Then he plays the Growth Chamber, deals 6 to opponent, picks up the Growth Chamber, plays the Growth Chamber again. There's your 24, right?